Good morning, good morning. Here's what's been happening lately. Three things. First, Mayor Brandon Johnson faces pushback from top allies just ahead of a pivotal affordable housing vote. Next, the State of Black Chicago report lays out a path to building wealth amid stark racial gaps. And then lastly, state Senate leaders are split on a community college bachelor's degree proposal. Let's break it all down. First up, Mayor Brandon Johnson has been turning up the heat on the city council just ahead of a pivotal vote on his plan to confront Chicago's affordable housing crisis. And this is amid pushback from his most powerful allies. Johnson's green social housing plan would create a city-owned nonprofit developer to issue $135 million in loans to developers who would build affordable housing and sell their environmentally friendly buildings back to the city. Alderman Pat Dowell of the 3rd Ward, Johnson's handpicked finance committee chair, said the plan would simply benefit affluent communities and do little to uplift marginalized communities because of the economics of how the deals are structured. Now, according to the plan, 70% of the units would be market rate and 30% would be affordable. Dowell noted that Housing Commissioner Lizette Castaneda has openly acknowledged that it would take about 10 years for communities like South Shore, Grand Boulevard, Roseland, North Lawndale, and Fuller Park to see results of the new strategy. That's how long it would take to build up the revolving fund to the point where money would be redirected to subsidize even deeper those areas that are not going to benefit from this strategy, Dowell said. Dowell goes on to say the only way the base can be built up is by having lots of development in the more affluent parts of the city. Now, the mayor will be pushing for approval of his green social housing ordinance this Wednesday at a joint meeting of the Finance and Housing Committees, and that will be followed by a full council meeting Wednesday to tee up the ordinance for a final vote next week. A new report tackles the yawning wealth gap between Black Chicagoans, laying out a set of potential solutions for bridging it, including increased home ownership, enhanced workforce and business development, and universal financial literacy training. The report, called The State of Black Chicago 2025, A Laddered Path to Wealth Building, focuses heavily on some key data points from a report by the New Schools Institute on Race, Power, and Political Economy. Now, the report highlights actionable ideas that bring together disparate areas it already focuses on to close the wealth gap. Solutions include increasing business accelerators that help entrepreneurs, more tuition-free access to trade schools and apprenticeships, and expanding programs that ease the path to homeownership for Black residents. And then lastly, two Democratic leaders in the Illinois Senate openly expressed their disagreement last week with the governor's proposal to allow community colleges to offer four-year bachelor's degree programs in certain high-demand employment fields. The exchange between Senate Majority Leader Kimberly Lightford of Westchester and Senator Christina Castro of Elgin, who chairs the powerful Senate Executive Committee, took place during a hearing on an unrelated bill that would overhaul the way Illinois funds public universities. But it offered a public view of the reasons why the baccalaureate proposal, which the governor touted in his budget address in February, has so far failed to advance in the General Assembly. Both the university funding proposal, Senate Bill 13 and House Bill 1581, and the community college proposal, House Bill 3717 and State Bill 2482, are intended to stem the spiraling costs to students and their families of obtaining a four-year college degree. The funding proposals call for increasing state funding for universities to reduce their reliance on tuition and fees, and the community college proposal is intended to make certain four-year degrees available through lower-cost institutions and more accessible to older, non-traditional students who don't live near a four-year institution. Now, the university funding plan, sponsored by Lightford, was the subject of the Senate committee hearing on Wednesday. The bill allowing community colleges to offer four-year baccalaureate degrees did not advance out of the House committee before a March 21st deadline. Now, Lightford said the university funding proposal was the product of 4 years of negotiations that were intended to address a specific set of issues facing universities, namely the adequacy and equity of their funding systems. The community college proposal, she argued, would draw students away from universities that are already struggling to maintain enrollment levels.